Injury. And it's probably actually it's not that little, but it's probably the worst injury I've had since I had this abdominal strain in like 2013 where I couldn't really lift for 8 months. Again, because I was doing stupid shit. Um, this one also it's in the groin area, so adductors. So those are the muscles that bring the legs together, and hip flexors, which is the the muscles that bring the leg up towards you. Um, so um, that happened, and so I just wanted to share like some of what I've done in the past because I've had other injuries in the past. Plus, kind of the most important things as far as nutrition goes, and most importantly, mindset. So as far as and we'll start with mindset actually because that's the most important thing. So I've talked with and been around a lot of people since I've been doing this who've had injuries, and I get it. Like there is nothing that you want to experience less than an injury, especially if you're an active person. But even, if you're not active, like, it limits everything you can do. Like you for some people like you might not be able to do your job, right? So that's a big thing and you don't want to have to deal with it. That being said, getting stuck in the frustration of it, the anger of it, and if it was something that you did that was stupid, like in my case, like, "Oh, why did I do that?" That is not going to help. Um, you have to know, like, how amazing the body is and give yourself evidence of, like, people have come back from insane injuries, and there's tons of stories of, like, you know, pretty crazy recoveries. And so that's I think the most important thing to know is like the body is amazing. It always heals if you let it. The body can change and adapt. And so that's number one, first and foremost. And so that kind of always goes to like you're gonna find the answers to the things that you're always thinking about all the time. So if you're always um talking about or thinking about how fat loss is hard, then you're going to find the evidence to support that, and that's what you're going to experience. With injuries, it's the same thing. If you are constantly like frustrated about it, angry about it, etc., and like listening to people who like, oh, I had this injury 15 years ago, it never healed, blah blah blah, then that's what you're going to experience. So you have to you have to know, believe, and think and get evidence of how amazing the body is and how quickly it can heal, how completely it can heal, and how things can get even stronger after the injury. Um, let me. Um, so that being said, um, what am I doing specifically? So, couple of things that I'm doing. So, as far as nutrition wise, like immediately as it happened, I was like, okay, like I had been wanting to do a little cut anyway and get back in the shape that I prefer to be in and clean up my diet, etc. And then the moment it happened, instantly I was like, okay, dialed in. Like, and so this happened on Thursday. Since then, been eating, been have eliminated almost all like you know a high calorie junk type processed type foods. So most of my vast majority of my calories are coming from um real foods. So it's been a lot more fruit, a lot of eggs, lean proteins, um, uh, healthy sources of fat, because you need the fat to uh, for your hormone production, right, etc. And so the simple thing is this: like it doesn't need to be too complicated. I am in my backyard. It doesn't need to be too complicated. And where are you? Uh, but remember, like real foods tend to give you the best results as far as most things. Um, nice. Um, so, real foods tend to have the most vitamins, the most minerals, etc. So that was like a very simple switch for me. I'm like, all right, I got to fix this. Gonna go back to what I know, etc. Um, and cut out all the bullshit. And by the way, immediately you always feel, and people always say this, but they don't like acknowledge it as much or take it quite as seriously. It's like real food. Okay, good question. Real food meaning fruits, vegetables, uh, meat. So anything that is alive or a plant. Um, that's and I would consider, so I put like tortillas and like bread in that category because uh humans have been eating that stuff for a long time. And so I put that in there. But primarily it's all this type of stuff. So people will always say like, "Oh my god, when I eat, clean." The word that most people use is clean. So I go like, if people go like, when they eat clean, "Oh my god, I feel so much better." Well, that's a huge signal from your body that maybe you should pay attention to. So like everybody, when you eat something greasy, um, super fat heavy, carb heavy, ultra processed, you don't really feel good after. And a lot of times not even during, and the enjoyment that you're getting is literally for those few moments that it's in your mouth, and then pause. And then after, you feel like shit. So knowing that when you eat fruits and vegetables and lean proteins, um and you're not drinking alcohol, like that you feel better, like huge clue. Like we should do more of that. Um and so that's like my main nutrition right now is real foods within a calorie deficit. And that was another thing that, like, for me, as soon as the injury happened, I knew, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to work out the way that I want, but I can 100% control my nutrition. So I'm not going to allow myself to get fatter because I'm injured. And so that's another thing. That's another part of the mindset. And I'll go over like the specific foods that I've been eating, like pretty much the same every day. But like, um, that's another huge part of the mindset of, like, people get injured and they go, "Oh, well, I gotta take time off." Yeah, like, to a certain degree, like, if like, for me, like, I hurt my, like, adductor, groin area, hip flexor. So I can't squat. I can't run, jump, do any of those things. But guess what? I can do all kinds of upper body stuff. And then also, even specifically for all this stuff, like I'm doing things to start to get it back, to build it back up. So, when you do get injured, hopefully I always pray that no one ever experience an injury, that you don't have to go through that. But, chances, like, if you do, we all have been there, then, that you have the mindset of like, it should not stop you from continuing to work out and be active and train. I'm walking at like a snail's pace right now because if I move too fast, too far, there's a lot of pain. So I can't. But I'm still doing stuff, and the other thing to remember with that is continuing to train and move promotes the healing. It is even for like hormonally speaking, like I'm about to go into the gym and do a bunch of like stuff upper body, like that will get turn on the right stuff as far as like hormones go that will increase healing for the injury. Also blood flow, what causes healing if there is actual damage? It's blood. And so your circulation is a closed system. So even though I might not be moving that particular area, moving my arms, my back, everything else, my legs or my lower legs, my foot, that's getting blood flow circulating throughout my body, which will make healing happen faster. So that's just a couple of things, and so my main kind of message of this is like, injuries happen. Don't get discouraged by them. The body is amazing. The body always heals. Do the right stuff. The information is out there. I happen to have a fantastic coach. I've always kept a coach. And the guy I'm working with right now, Brady Ballmurray, DAC Performance. He is one of the best in the world. Very, very smart guy. And so that's a big recommendation. And then the other thing is that was my wife. She's in the house. But so I was gonna say like what specific things am I eating right now? So um mornings, I'm having a protein shake that's about 60 grams of protein in it. It has, what does it have? It has like, it has a protein powder, it has a casein protein powder, it has a peanut butter powder, and chocolate, uh, dark chocolate syrup. And so that's the morning. Then at some point, I'll have like 3 eggs with tortillas. Phenomenal. Always got to make sure you have homemade salsa. So my in-laws are Mexican, so we get the good stuff. So eggs, and then at some point, depending on how I'm feeling, like what's going on, I'll have a bone broth, which is another 20 grams of protein, and all the other good stuff that's in bone broth. Um, and then at some point, there will be what else? There's some Brazil nuts in there to get all the good stuff in there. There's some sunflower or pumpkin seeds somewhere in there, a little bit. Also extremely nutrient dense. Some Greek yogurts, and then fruits, a bunch of fruits like oranges, papaya, um, blueberries, raspberries, things like that. And then for dinner, it's like last night it was like chicken sandwiches, so grilled chicken sandwich with cheese, amazing. And then with all that food that I just mentioned, that's like 170 grams of protein. There's still and tons of vitamins and minerals because that's all real food. There's still room for something fun. And being an Indian person, like we always like to drink or chai as non-Indian people call it. And so a lot of chai and a lot of coffee. Uh and then the night doesn't end until you have a coffee or a cha. And you can't have coffee or cha without something sweet. So there's even room in this all the food that I mentioned and in my calorie which I'm aiming for like 1700 ish to still have something sweet with my coffee at night before I go to sleep. So that's like pretty much the typical day to day. And I'll switch out things once in a while, like based on where I'm at, or like my wife and I went to lunch this weekend at Santana Row, and we ate at nice restaurant called Augustine, and so I still got we still got pretty healthy options. Like I had a chicken, Caesar salad, which was phenomenal, and we had dessert. The dessert was great. Crullers with this like vanilla thing on it. I don't know. But anyways, my point being, you can have it all. And injuries are not the end of the world. This injury really sucks, but it doesn't matter because the body heals. And I'm just gonna show maybe phone's about to die anyway, but I'm gonna show how limiting this injury is at this moment. But and maybe like tomorrow I'll kind of walk through like the progress I've already made. But like actually, I mean you can't really tell, but this is about the maximum speed I have at the moment. Like I cannot walk faster than this. And I cannot, you know, take any longer strides than what I'm doing right now. I have now I'm able to reach back down to the ground, but when I when I got injured that day, like it was it was rough. Like I couldn't even me sitting down on this like chair right here. I don't have to use my hand to sit down or stand up. I could not sit down without using my upper body, and it would take like 5-10 seconds to sit down, get up. So since Thursday, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, within 5 days I have regained a lot of range of motion. I've regained some strength because I'm able to sit down, stand up by myself. And the pain is still there if I move too quickly, or like my stride is too long, or I turn too much, then there's pain. But we are building it back up. So the squat everyday program obviously is on hold, but that's fine. And I'll keep talking about this, but one of the things that I've learned just really quick is like I always used to be so like I don't want to say desperate is the right word, but like fixated on I need this outcome. I have to be able to dunk. I have to be able to do this. I have to be able to deadlift this number or squat this number. And one of the biggest things that the injuries have taught me, especially this one, is like, man, you know what? Who really fucking cares? Like, it if I figure out, which by the way, I have zero doubt I'll be able to do all those things again. But like this stranglehold on these things that we need or have to have causes more problems than like the injury itself, or like um the idea of like you have to have this. You don't have to have it. And then it's always about staying open and receptive, and not needing this thing. So like, I've thought about it in the last couple days as well, and I've thought about this in the past. It's like, what do I really care about? What do I really want? Um, I always have loved to dunk, and I've had this like goal of like I'm gonna dunk in every year of my life, for as long as possible. And I think I still will be able to 100%. But I'm like, what's most important? Well, I like to look good, and that's an easy goal to hit. That's just calories. Like being very lean is not difficult if you know what you're doing and you're doing it in a calm, relaxed way, which is what most of my channel is about. Then it was like deadlift 405, deadlift 500, and oh, what if I never deadlift 500 again? What if I never squat 315 again? Okay, well, Does that really matter? No. You can still do everything you need to do in your day to day, be strong enough to, like anything I need to do at home or at work, I can do all that. I don't need to deadlift 315 to pick things up, blah blah blah, etc. So, yes, I like those things, but I don't need them. I don't need to fixate on them. So then the focus can now shift back to just like, hey, lift weights every day, do the right stuff as far as your specific needs. Like, so for me, it's going to be healing this strain and groin injury. For somebody else, it might be like your hips are really tight and you like it's causing different problems. So maybe you need to lift weights and then you need to maybe do Pilates, maybe do yoga, maybe do some type of whatever else to get your hips to have the freedom that you would benefit from or would like to have, or that would enhance your day to day. So, you know, um, so it's just like, I don't need to do all those things. Lift some weights, address the specific issues, um, get my heart rate up. So on purpose, like get winded on purpose and stay in my calorie deficit. And I'm where I want to be. You know, you look good, you feel good, you're capable of doing everything. You don't like your life is not going to end if you don't deadlift 500 pounds. If I can deadlift 315 with no problem, like that's fine. You know, it's the same idea with money. And I'm going to shut it off after this because phone's about to die. But it's the same idea with money. Like people just have these random numbers that they actually never thought of and applied to themselves. Like it's just more, more, more versus like, well, what would actually make me happy? Maybe that's hey, rent a place for whatever depending on where you live for X amount for food, blah blah blah, figure all that out. And I want to go to Disneyland 6 times a year. And so you can write all that out and it might come out to, oh shit, you only need $8,000 a month, $7,000 a month. And guess what? You have funded everything that you want in your life. And I'm just giving you a random example, but the point is, you figure out all those things, and you're like, well, if I can take care of everything I want with $9,000 a month, w- with ease and and calmness and relaxed in a relaxed way, why would I obsess and go crazy over like, oh, I need to make, scale and do this and do that. Like you have to think for yourself and you got to remind yourself you don't need anything. You don't need most of the things that society and culture and experts have told you, and media and social media have told you that you need. Even our families, things that they have told us that we need, you need very little. Like the actual only needs are food, water, shelter, uh, and that's the needs, you know. And I would say human connection, but like I think that's very important. So those are like that's it. But anyways, phone's about to die. I'm gonna go do some of my hip stuff. Get this stuff. This is the third session of the day. So and then probably hit the sauna. And yeah, here we go.